Well, we were bitching about The Mandalorian again.
When you're young, death is not... I don't think you even think about it. You neglect the things that you need to be a well-balanced human.
I am better than everybody else because I bought a hybrid car. Send us your Bitcoin and subscribe.
Accepting the status quo.
Masturbates, loves YouTube, goes to bed and does it all over again.
Plays Call of Duty.
Jingle bells, eat my LSD.
I have not done mushrooms, but I've served other humans my entire life.
Let he who is pure cast the first hashtag. Nowadays we live in like a fucking little Debbie cake world.
Nuclear level emotional blackmailing. I have a big problem with the government.
As long as they don't piss all over your building, that's different.
When you're young, death is not... I don't think you even think about it to the degree you do. But as you get older, there seems to be two types of people, and I know I'm generalizing, but it's like there's this one type that's scared to death of dying. And so they try to mitigate. I actually know some people like that. They try to mitigate every single aspect of it. How, to not die at all, to extend your life. And then there's this other group, which I fall into, that's like, oh, I'm running out of time. I got to learn everything possible and do everything possible because I could go in any second. And
I definitely fall into that group.
Oh, I just want to
But it's less out of necessity of I'm going to die soon and more out of I just really want to consume this information.
I do. I feel
media.
like an idea vacuum. I just want to suck it all in.
Yeah.
It's
hard to find the balance between all of the media you consume and all of the experience you can consume by, going out and just living and being in the world.
How did we go
It's so hard to find that balance.
How did we go from The Mandalorian to consumption?
This happens.
It's Mandalorian tuberculosis. Somebody cancel us, please. We need a vaccine. It
is what it is. That is the magic of podcasting.
I hate censorship so much, and it's like if someone's a jerk and they're espousing behaviors or thoughts that I think are jerky, one, I turn them off, and two, I say, hey, you know what, do you like this person? We bash their ideas, not the person.
Right.
And then we move on.
Well, everybody's jabbing at each other's identities, or you know what I mean? It's everything's gotten a lot more personal lately with the whole battles on Twitter and battles and stuff. I don't see a lot of people battling in real life over their bullshit. It happens. It's always happened.
The key to solving some of that is, though, is I told Tom this the other day when someone brings up, well, you're racist or you hate trans people or blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It's like, no, I just fucking hate you. I want to just say that now. I not even hate. There are very few humans. There's only 2 people on this entire planet that I've come close to hating, and that's because they were mean to other humans. Yeah. I'm talking about that. I just don't like you as an individual.
When I was going to church, way back in the day. That's where I learned the definition of hate, and it's stuck with me since. Mm-hmm. Which is basically you wish they were dead. And I think that's a unanimous definition of hate, right?
Well, you wish their soul didn't exist.
Or you wish they never existed. Basically, they just need to be gone.
I don't know if I've ever cared about someone so much that I've actually hated them. Because that you would have, I think hate, to get all forcey, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate. You would have to feel some sort of massive emotions towards someone to actually truly hate them.
Right. And I wouldn't say I truly hate anybody.
I never have.
I don't wish. Sometimes I find myself falling down the hole in my head of God, I hate this person.
I wonder who that is.
But then but when I start to really feel the implications of those thoughts in my head, I'm like, that doesn't feel good to have those thoughts. So then I kind of.
I do not wish agony on any human because no one learns from that.
Well, I want to know what takes more effort, hating or not hating. In certain moments, it's always situational, right? It's always situational.
It is.
It's never just out of nowhere you hate somebody, right? It's always something, there's a trigger for it, right?
I have a friend, exactly, and I have a good anecdote for this. I have a friend who, she's a wonderful person and very giving. She grew up in an abusive situation. She's got some serious health problems and still took care of her mother, lost a child. It's just it's like the ultimate Hallmark movie, or, the ultimate, her story. And her mother was one of the most horrible human beings I have ever come across. We're talking nuclear level emotional blackmailing, selfishness, abusiveness. I really, as far as close to hate, it was because of not how she treated me, because the lady was scared to death of me because I could see right through her. It was how she treated my friend, who tried her hardest to, even though the lady was horrible to her, she still, because of those abuse is terrible. Yeah. Because of how she was psychologically brought up and she didn't escape those paradigms, she would take this abuse and try to be a good person. Sometimes people have the drive for that. Not everybody, but sometimes that kind of adversity really pushes you forward too, because you're like, what, fucking challenge accepted. I'll get over this shit. Well, this was more is because of patterns of behavior. Yeah. Patterns of behavior. That's why I think I'll bring up hypothesism. It's our entire life. I have had to to re-examine as you age. If you choose to stay in a bad pattern of behavior, it is your choice. Mm-hmm. Like, because if you
that is true. It's all choices.
If you're a functioning human being, you can, if you don't have any handicaps that are keeping you from thinking, you can make a decision to be like, you know what? There's something about how I'm conducting myself that's causing me to live through these cycles over and over again. I need to challenge that.
Yeah. It's the same thing when I was in the shower this morning. I was telling you earlier, like I've noticed how much screen time I'm consuming.
Yes, we were talking about that.
And it's all habitual. Like I've spiraled into this like habitual mess, I guess, of just, I can't stop watching YouTube. I can't stop watching these things. I can't stop consuming media and information, and like there's so many books I want to read and so many movies I want to watch.
Not enough time to absorb
and
it all.
Not only that, so many activities I want to go do.
Oh, yeah.
But those are all my choices. I choose to sit down and watch that stuff, whether I like it or not, which I do like it. But it's like I choose to do that, whether it has negative effects or not. Like, that's my choice. And I have to consider, like, what is this effect that's having on my life?
Well, and our minds are so powerful.
Those, like you were saying, though, those habits are your choice. It doesn't matter no matter what you do, period. Like, any little action, big action, whatever you're doing in the moment, right? Listening to this podcast right now is your choice to do that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with listening to our podcast.
No, I feel like it's a totally good choice. Well, and I think that people talk about cycles of addiction. I am a firm believer that any addiction can be broken. What's interesting is, as a human, we substitute that addiction with something else. Have you noticed that? Because I broke the sugar addiction. It was hard. And there's times I still want to just go eat a candy bar all the time. And I'm not saying I don't even eat sugar now, but the thing is I broke the unhealthy aspect of it. Did I substitute something else in there for that? My brain chemistry has changed completely since I've done that. So I think that any habit can be broken and substituted maybe with healthy habits. It just depends on your frame of mind.
Addiction can definitely be like a chemical issue.
Yes.
But it's more or less a habit. No matter what you break it down to,
it's a habit.
It could have, no matter what chemical it has in it, you still have to make the choice to keep doing it.
Well, and that's
whether you feel compelled naturally by your neurochemistry or not, it's still a choice to keep doing it. So I think
that's what's talking about. Our brains are so powerful.
I think we can be addicted to things that we don't even realize we're addicted to, like watching YouTube.
Yeah, or I'm addicted to reading. I know I am.
You're addicted to reading.
Oh man.
And it doesn't always mean it's a problem. Like technically, everybody's addicted to consuming food and water. Whether you like it or not, like that, you have to do it, but you're also addicted to it. I think that's also an addiction if you think about it.
And the thing is
it's something you have to do.
It's called balancing it with healthy habits. I put the book down when I know I need to go feed my children dinner or I need to go pick my child up. It's when you get so entrenched in your addictions that you neglect the things that you need to be a well-balanced human.
Right.
That is, and you know what? It's a constant struggle. Because you were talking about your YouTube thing. I would love to take a day and just be completely immersed in learning. I would love it, but I know in the back of my mind I can't do that.
Well, you've got a lot of things that you are responsible for, so you can't exactly.
Do you think that's the goal of retirement? Is you get to that point where you're so old, and if you've been to a certain degree of responsible, that you can just immerse yourself in these beautiful pursuits before you croak?
I think that's how I've imagined. Yeah, that's how I imagine retirement.
I've
essentially,
thought about this.
Where you're just now, I am not beholden to having to go to work and build up this nest egg. Basically, it's so funny how we all work. I'm sorry to digress here, but
no, please digress. I love them.
I find human traditions weird. A lot of them. I don't know why. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else or better than any of this stuff, but for whatever reason, I've always been kind of an observer. I place my consciousness on the outside of everything and look.
That's why we have a podcast.
A weird... exactly. Maybe that is why we have a podcast.
Because you examine peer pressure from dead people.
Yeah, I just examine all of these weird habits and traditions and stuff that we do, whether I'm beholden to them or not.
Oh, but you're an existential examiner.
Retirement... We've worked so hard all our life, and what are we really working for? Is any of us really working for the betterment of society? Some of us guess. I guess they are. Like
depends on what you do.
Maybe them Chinese people who just opened up the sun on the earth or whatever.
Oh, I know.
The nuclear fusion reactor.
150 million.
But
Celsius.
Are they really doing it so that they can actually better society, or are they doing it because they're working towards a big chunk of money so that they don't have to work later once they have that big chunk of money? Or are they doing it because the Chinese government fucking makes them? I don't know. Maybe there's a mixture of all three of those things.
I think also it's important to note there needs to be a balance for saving when you are old and decrepit or for joy when you get to stop working, but also living while you're alive. I know that you've all heard the stories where this person saved to travel when they're old and then they got disabled somehow or they lost all their savings and then they're old. They couldn't travel because they were too tired or whatever. And they missed all of this glorious time. So I do travel now. A few years ago, I decided, you know what? If I have the ability to do this, I'm going to do it now. And I'll balance it with, I got to raise my children and pay my mortgage and stuff. But then later, I'll do it later too if I can. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll take in foster kids when I'm old. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Who knows?
I think what gives us fulfillment changes as we change.
Yeah. And everybody has a different goal for fulfillment, I think, too.
And also, I think
some people really like rescuing animals, and some people really like fucking working on cars or building things or whatever.
And I hate it when some people denigrate other people's fulfillment goals.
Oh,
drives me nuts.
They're gonna do that. Everybody's so worried about what everybody else is doing.
It's like what is that? That's part of cancel culture. This value. What I do is more valuable than what you do. It's actually just like grade school. My shoes are better than your shoes.
Are you saying most people haven't made it past grade school?
I don't think most people psychosocially don't develop past high school. I don't think they do.
I've noticed that, especially a good example. What really opens my eyes to this, and you will notice it too now. Thanks, Brady. Whenever I watch like Adam Sandler movies, especially the older ones, it's like he has so many of these tropes of like people who never got over high school.
Which is true.
And then you see that, and you start to see it in other forms of media, and then you look around and you see it in life, where it seems like those big fucking truck toting assholes driving down the road rolling coal. Yeah. They're still in that high school mentality. I gotta be cool.
Instead of just liking, but then on the flip side, I know a 17-year-old that is just the most amazing mechanic ever. And he's a little bit. Well, no, I was just saying, but there are people out there. Why not just like the big ass diesel truck because you like big ass diesel trucks instead of projecting that. But I know exactly what you're talking about because we live in the woods, and so there is a surplus of big ass diesel trucks out there.
I have no problem with big diesel trucks.
He's talking about the mentality.
Objectively, I don't like when they roll coal. It's like only because it's hurting the environment. Like, think about it. You don't need to blow black smoke out of your fucking tailpipe, okay? Whether I sometimes it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, cool, wow, you got a bunch of smoke, wow. Just like when people do burnouts. It's like, wow, cool, you did a burnout. And it's entertaining for the most, for a couple seconds or whatever, right? Instant gratification real quick. Like, cool, you did a burnout, or the guy who did it, it's like, wow, that was fun. But like, really, you're polluting the environment. There's some things that are harmful.
Exhibition of superiority. Yeah. Is that what you're talking about? Like at the core of it?
That's not the problem I'm just talking about if certain things you do are actually harmful to like the world or harmful to the people around you. Like, who wants to breathe in all that exhaust? But the mentality itself, like everybody kind of has that no matter what.
Yeah, look at me.
Like, some things I do, we all like attention. I mean, that's why social media is so fucking powerful.
Also, in America, we like to be the most flashiest, and so it's like I have a Mercedes, I have a Tesla. That's the
I'm not here to judge people who want to have a Mercedes. But it's kind of annoying if you're just doing it to flex on people. It's like, really,
you don't like the flex attitude.
It's the flex attitude I don't like. Yeah.
I went to a state that shall not be named that is all about the flex attitude, but they actually try to...
talking about California?
My favorite thing about this state...
does it rhyme with Malamornia?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. My favorite thing about this state is I love... Because I go into it as an observer, too, because what's funny is I like things. I love to go to California because it's like one huge case study for me. I love rolling down the road.
It's another planet, isn't it?
I stayed in Laguna Beach with my friends, and the average house cost is $5 million there, right? Uh-huh. And everybody is trying to convey this sense that we are so holy and we care about everything, but what they're actually doing is consuming on this massive scale to look better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird cognitive dissonance.
Isn't that funny?
And it is like another planet.
I always found it.
They have good gelato, though.
It's kind of ironic. Okay. It's I call it the Prius mentality.
Oh, the pious.
Or the crunchy culture.
Yes.
Where I am better than everybody else because I bought a hybrid car, or now it's Teslas or whatever whatever the popular EV is going to be when you're listening to this.
Yes.
It's like you guys realize the pollution that happened in the development of this car, right? Like, you're not doing anything different. Like, basically, you're saving money on gasoline, but that's about it.
But the strip mining of the lithium kind of ouch.
Yeah, like there really isn't any alternative.
All consumption has a cost.
No matter how electric your vehicle is, you still directly rely on the petroleum industry. It doesn't matter what you do.
Well, yeah, all consumption.
But then they all have iPhones too.
Well, or
all them crunchy people that got iPhones. Guess what? That was made by slaves.
The hypocrisy of it.
You know how many little kid slaves are over there digging out the fucking rare earth minerals that are in your phone? Maybe people don't even know that these rare earth minerals are in their phone. A lot of people don't even think about how the iPhone works or why what it's made of or whatever. Guess what? There's cobalt in there. Do you know who mines the cobalt? Little 12-year-olds getting a bowl of rice a day.
Yeah.
Okay? And nobody cares. We all just kind of like pretend that's not happening so that we could have our iPhone. And I'm guilty of that too. We're all fucking guilty. I have a fucking it was like a $99 smartphone, okay? It works great. I love it. But I know that the things that are in that fucking phone, underneath that black mirror, was mined by little slaves, and there's nothing I could do about it. Well, I wish there was something I could do about it. But if I want a phone that's not mined by slaves, it's going to cost like a literally $1 million to have a phone like that. So what do we do? What's the solution here?
Well, and I think that's part of the problem. And
I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty. Like, that is just the way the world is right now, and I wish we had a way to fix it. And many people have talked about this problem. Apple's goal is to get away from that problem, but there's no way to get away from that problem. So what do we do? But maybe
being aware of it and moving towards a goal is a good thing. Other than don't blanket and serve, lip service it. Like, we're trying to be environmentally responsible. It's like, are you? Or are you just lip servicing?
Let's just put it this way, guys. If slavery didn't exist, everything we consume would cost at least 3 or 4 times more than it costs now, if not more. Well, so what do we do about that? And then if we did get rid of slavery and we accepted that higher price, how do we afford anything anymore?
No, we need to embrace automation, because automation
that's what I'm thinking too.
Will help with that. And this is not a new problem. That's what's funny is people act like some of this is new problems. I just read 2 of the books in the Enola Holmes series. It's about Sherlock Holmes' fictional little sister. I love the books because what it does is it shows the absolute decrepitude of the British Empire during the late 1800s. Okay, so you have the wealthy, they're worried about having a pink-themed tea party. And then you can go down the street a little bit, and there are people with no clothes on laying in a gutter. Mm-hmm. And so they're picking
you think income inequality is bad here, guys.
Oh, the late 1800s British Empire was glorious for that, because the midden pickers, they went around and picked little bits of scrap out of heaps to sell to, just so they could eat. And so this is it's not a new phenomenon at all. That we produce more food now than we did in those times actually might be better for developing nations. I don't know. Maybe. I think it's a big conversation to have, but just to read about the disparity between just a few blocks. Mm-hmm. And we still have that.
That's true.
It's just the weird. Poor in our country now.
Yeah, way better. I read this thing, maybe it was like 8 or 9 years ago, maybe even longer ago, but it was about how the poverty in America specifically, even as a homeless person, is still luxurious compared to the poverty in a third world nation. Like, yeah, and you can see it. Go online and just look up videos of like Ethiopian kids who have to walk 3 miles to get water. It's not clean water. They have to walk the water back to where the fuck they're living to boil it. So they can drink it. Over a garbage fire. And they're surrounded by heaps of garbage from the rich people who are in the nation. They just dump all the garbage in the fucking, in the ghetto.
Oh, well, that's like my Hive.io. It's the platform, my cryptocurrency platform I blog on. There are people from all over the world on it. My 11-cent upvote will feed an entire family in Venezuela for the day. Yeah. Blows my mind.
That's insane.
And they do not. One time,
their rice is not expensive.
They were having trouble last year. The power, there was rolling blackouts. Everything was collapsing because the price of petroleum was down. And so a few of us were making sure our friends had food, because I have some Venezuelan friends from this platform, which the internet's awesome, by the way. But they were having to grow herbs in their yard because they couldn't get medicine.
Wow.
And I was just like,
well, at least but they find ways to survive, you know? So they still survive no matter what level of poverty you're living in. People still persist on surviving.
And that's why I don't want to cry about
it's amazing.
How, I am a little bit mentally overwrought over this Rona thing. And it's mainly for reasons you wouldn't think. It's the cognitive dissonance aspect that's hurting me. Yeah. Like policies that are in direct contradiction of what I'm actually doing. So, but I will still, it is nowhere near as bad as living. I know my life is good.
Yeah.
And this idea that we're complaining about things, I just want to fix the specific problems.
My wife was reading an article last night about these kids, what kids are asking Santa for this year. Like, some kids are asking Santa for, like, fucking money for their parents to pay the bills.
Or the power to be on, or to have a couch. I read that.
Yeah, you read the same thing.
Yeah, and that broke my heart.
It was sad, and then it gives you good perspective on your life. Like,
and also, it's not, we
get sucked into our own paradigm and how bad or good it is, and especially when you compare it to others. Especially when you're watching, like, if you're on Instagram all day or watching YouTube and all these fucking people flexing with their Lambos. Today I drove a Lamborghini into a river. Like, you're just throwing away fucking $1 million.
Oh, I know.
But it's like, yeah, you can compare all day, but try comparing your life to like that kind of shit.
And also, I think there needs to stop with the mass guilt. I am tired of people like influencers flexing this mass guilt on people that you're American and your life is good. Do you know how hard our ancestors worked? That's something
that's
they act
true.
like. I know that there's all these conversations about white supremacy and building on the backs of other people's stuff, but you know what? My great grandma.
Well, we've come a long way, haven't we?
She hoed strawberries just a generation ago for 50 cents an hour. Yeah. I don't know about you if you've ever gardened, people. It is. Can you imagine hoeing acres of strawberries for like an entire work day? It's hard work.
Yeah. So I'm from Washington, and one of actually the bigger. I don't know if it's the biggest industry in Washington, thanks to Seattle and it becoming the new San Francisco, the new Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm. Or actually, I think Texas now is starting to become that. All the tech companies.
Everybody's moving there.
But like there was a bunch of there's a couple of the biggest tech companies to ever exist, and their headquarters are in Seattle. But before that, the biggest industry in Washington was the fruit farmers.
Oh yeah, it's still large.
And you're out there making 25 cents an hour picking fruit all fucking day, getting stung by bees, fighting off bears.
And you have to pick fast.
Yeah.
If any of you
fighting with the other pickers, by the way.
It's not like going to a U-Pick farm and picking a quarter bucket of strawberries. You are having to haul balls.
And I did it once, and I was just because it's something you can go do if you want to. Like they don't mind. As many people that want to volunteer to go do that, that's fine. They'd like that.
Well, a few years
as long as their fruit gets picked. But the farm itself is making God knows how much money, but they're paying these.
They're also subsidized by the government.
But here's this what you were just saying about our ancestors, okay? There's a historic example of how automation can at least fix some of these problems because, okay, yes. There were slave owners in America, and those slaves worked on like cotton fields and stuff. One example is the cotton field. Okay. And I think the hemp field for a while was the same way.
Yep.
A lot of things were made of hemp back in these times, hemp and cotton. It took a lot of labor to not only harvest this stuff, and this was before these like $3 million fucking tractors and harvesters.
I love automation so much.
But like before then, it was people actually picking it and people processing it by hand, picking out the seeds by hand. Like brutal labor.
Oh, that's
and they weren't getting paid for it. They were fed whether it was good or bad. Some slaves were treated better than others. It was never equal. I've read stories of slaves living in luxury because they did so much work, and then I've read stories of slaves being beat every day, no matter what they did. It doesn't matter. Like it wasn't.
Face people will always exist. Yeah,
but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is when the threat of the abolishment of slavery was facing these big, fucking cotton field owners and stuff who were really going to lose a lot of money. What happened? They persevered and made the cotton gin. And that started the Industrial Revolution, at least in America. And then that gave everybody an idea. We can make machines to do all this labor. And they did. And look what happened to America. Factories started popping up everywhere for everything.
Well,
Textile
that happened
factories
in 1793. And look at the last 200 years.
And then we had the World War I. And that really, really, really pushed industrialization. It pushed automation in the industrial sense to its fucking limit at the time. And so many good things came from that. The war was bad. But the result of the war was now... We've realized we can automate so many jobs. Whether it still took people being paid pretty much dirt wages to run some of the machines, but hey, we've come a long way since then. And look what fucking Amazon is trying to fully automate every process of getting your fucking CBD lotion shipped to your door in 2 days. Overnight delivery of your fucking toilet paper and your goddamn Pepsi.
Well, they have their own airline empire for the drones now. It's and this brings up a good point. Hanging on to tradition at the expense of people. I am all for automating all the shit jobs. I want to.
Why wouldn't we do that? But here's the thing, though. Only the people who are able to automate are going to be making money at that point, because nobody else is going to be able to find a job. This is one of the things Andrew Yang was talking about. We have to talk about
the UBI.
Yeah, I'm not sitting here trying to be like I'm a big fucking Andrew Yang cuck. I'm just saying here's a conversation he brought up, and that nobody was really talking about before. Unless you were on like the fringe of these worlds. But he specifically was trying to appeal to the trucking industry for his votes, because he knows, and I know, and we should all really know that that's one of the first industries that are going to be fully automated if possible.
It's coming.
Because it costs a lot of money. It's a mess as it is right now because of human rights.
It's super stressful.
They only want people to drive, the regulators only want people driving a certain amount of hours a day, and that really puts a lot of stress on the industry and on your goddamn packages getting delivered overnight.
Yep.
So the solution to that demand is they're going to start automating the trucking industry. And that means a complete overhaul of all the infrastructure. They're going to put specific lanes on all of our freeways. And we're talking about, the government will subsidize this. Trust me. They'll get a nice big kickback from fucking these big trucking industries and these big companies like Amazon to update the infrastructure to make these deliveries happen better and faster and automated, so that they don't have to pay the truck drivers, because that's their bottom end.
But,
like,
okay, throughout
wages,
history, Brady, though.
Because those truck drivers also want a living wage. They want to be able to survive on the road with money. And so there's all these problems
automation has always brought more jobs. That's the thing, though. There's always been Luddites that said the Industrial Revolution will end human work. Well, no, it didn't. It brought more jobs. And then every time we leap, there's more jobs. And
there's always more jobs. And do we even have to have a job? That was the other thing Andrew Yang was saying.
Do we even have to?
Do we have to worry about these shit-ass jobs? Or can we, like, worry about creating and pushing society farther with our creativity and our ideas? But if we can't fucking pay our bills because there's no goddamn factory jobs around, how are we ever going to have the time to also fucking, I think that's to create and make society better? So his solution was, let's give everybody, like, an yes, arbitrary, but also very helpful amount of money, $1,000 a month. Just to some people, especially in third world nations, if you give some Ethiopian kid $1,000 a month, he's probably going to be the next fucking Jeff Bezos.
Well, it makes me wonder how much creativity has been tamped down in the developing world just because they can't get basic needs.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad because think of, like, the person that is going to cure this certain branch of cancer or the person that can get us to Mars is probably out there. They just can't get enough to eat, so they're walking 3 miles to a well.
That was Andrew Yang's idea. He's like, if we alleviate some of these stressors in people's lives, particularly the trucking industry, but most industries will be automated eventually. Trust me. That is something we're always pushing for. Technology is God at the moment, okay?
Well, I just read
in an atheist nation, we've made technology God, and it's only going to ever get better. So, and it's just one way to look at it, I guess. But my point is like if we were to have some of our stresses alleviated by taxing the people who are winning from the automation, who are getting all this money, and basically giving it some of that to everybody else, then we can really, like, okay, so these stressors are gone. I don't have to worry about pure survival. Now I can worry about, I had this fucking great idea for this invention. I had this great idea for this book. I have this great idea for this and this. Now I have the time and the energy to actually put into that because I'm not worried about how the fuck am I going to pay my rent this month? How am I going to eat? How am I going to feed my children? Because you have that already covered. But you're not given everything so that you could just be lazy all day either.
Well,
some people
we'll still have the same amount of lazy people that we did before.
It just happened. If you're lazy, you're lazy. If you're not, you're not. It is the way it is.
And that's not a judgmental thing.
Maybe some of them lazy people will even just, take that $1,000 and do something with it. I don't know.
I think that
become
there's
a
just
YouTuber
some
or
people,
something.
though, that just want to exist, and what's wrong with that?
I don't have a problem with that. It is just what it is.
I have a big problem with the government being in charge of anything because they. There's a lot. The problem with the UBI and this idea is it's so multi-pronged. We've been discussing it for years. They've been experimenting on it for the last decade and a half. Really, there's lots of trials that they've done. My biggest, it's a complicated thing. Like I was reading, I told you about the Israel, because to bring this into technology, this company in Israel grew a chicken burger. They're growing chicken. Yeah. And
in the lab, you should say.
What I find interesting is the food industry has been conditioning people for years to eat meat that's basically processed to the point it doesn't really like meat anymore. It's just flavored protein. And so
as long as it provides our substance that we need to live, right?
And I feel like that they've been doing that, so it's not a huge transition for when we have lab-grown meat. It's coming.
It's going to be a weird transition, particularly where we live in Idaho, because there's a lot of purists here that'll be like, no, man, I got to go hunt my deer. I got to eat my cow. That's got to eat real meat. You don't want that government lab-grown 5G fucking coronavirus bullshit.
Well, I feel like it's fine for you to grow your own meat. See,
I'm just saying this is gonna in Idaho particularly, and some other rural areas. It's going to be interesting to see what the purists have to say.
Well, and I think why does everything have to be so rednecks. You can either not have this or not have that? It's like the purist people, you know what? Go hunt your meat, but even they have. I would love to show the most purest deer gutting guy person on the planet how a chicken has to live in a farm.
That's true. Especially these mass
that's what I'm saying. Not a regular, like a chicken on my farm's got a golden, and that's just it. I'll produce my own.
But you can't feed the world. And if you had that responsibility, your chickens wouldn't live so good.
That's why I find lab grown meat fascinating, because humans are not going to want to stop eating meat. So let's find a way that doesn't.
We have to. Technically, we have to consume the things that meat offers.
Yeah,
we have to have
need the
that
amino
nutrition.
acids.
Yeah, if they can figure out a way to synthesize that, why not?
I think most Americans, if
I don't see the problem as long as it tastes good. Because if it tastes weird,
grub chicken nugget and it tasted like a chicken nugget from McDonald's, Americans would eat it.
Oh yeah.
You know they would.
That mouth pleasure, though, you have to have that.
You do.
We're wired to have to enjoy the food texture. Because if it tastes off or the texture's off, our brain's going to reject it. Like, that's not food or something, you know what I mean?
Well, like me,
it's not all just about being a big fatso. Like, it's about, our brains develop these needs.
Look up qualia, people.
Well, nowadays we live in like a fucking Little Debbie cake world. Ew. And it's mouth pleasure for the sake of mouth pleasure.
But it's actually not that
we developed the need for like something to taste good. We developed the taste buds the way they are, and the pleasure we get from food from survival. Like if that fucking meat tasted horrible, don't eat it. That's obviously not something I'm supposed to be eating. That berry, if it's sour or bitter, it's probably poisonous. I don't want to eat that.
Well, yeah, and those are things we developed over millennia.
So someone explain kale. That shit tastes like garbage, but it's so healthy for you. So why in the world did our mouth go, and I don't like that? And then you have, I'm digressing about like the.
You're so funny because you've obviously never stir-fried kale and onions and bacon and just.
It can be good, but on its own, it's like, that's fucking bitter. At it and it's bitter and weird. It looks like
a horsetail. Let's eat that.
It's bitter and weird and doesn't, but like. There's another example of that too. I guess I'm digressing about the irony of this because, like, yes, we develop our taste buds to survive, but some of it doesn't make sense. Like chili peppers, very healthy for you. But who had the idea? Because it fucking hurts to eat a ghost chili pepper, but there's actually health benefits to it, right?
You know what's funny though is chili peppers to begin with were not painful. That hot. We bred them over time.
That's true.
So the original chili pepper
I guess you're right. That makes sense.
Was not that many Scovilles.
It's still gonna have a degree of
ouch.
You know what I mean? And so like people still ate it like it's still healthy for you, but it's not a pleasant.
It makes my butthole burn. This is so good. Who had that idea? Yeah.
It's just funny that there are contradictions to that survival mechanism. That's like some of these things we should be eating, but they don't provide mouth pleasure.
Well, and that just brings it back to...
Is that conditioning too, though?
I don't know. I also think that's...
Like broccoli, some people hate the taste or texture of broccoli, but it's very good. You need to eat it.
Well, I think also it's because we've gotten far away from what food actually tastes like, because...
That's what I'm saying. Is that conditioning based on, like, the Little Debbie's?
Maybe because, a good anecdotal example of this, I really don't like public meat anymore. It tastes texturally different.
How you call it public meat.
That's my friend Jacob's term. But it truly is true. I've raised my own meat, and it's because of ethical reasons. I don't like the idea of some cow or pig having a crappy life just to give me sustenance, so I let it have a good life, and then I eat it. That's just my own mentality at where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's just like...
I have the ability to do that. And I have to sacrifice my time and resources, but it's worth it to me. And the taste is different than the taste in the meat at the store.
I love the mentality behind the way you choose your food and grow your food.
It's a philosophy.
But for the rest of us who go to get the public meat, quote unquote,
I don't look down on you guys.
No. But what I'm trying to say is like it's compare that to my example of the iPhone and the slavery.
Exactly.
Most of us just pretend that the horrible conditions of these animals aren't happening because we fucking need the meat and it's cheap.
Yes.
Not a lot of us can go afford the fucking
it's a denial.
The ethical meat. It's really expensive for some reason.
Yes, it is. Even to grow it yourself is expensive. Anybody who says contrary is lying to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, but if we all made the conscious decision to go, you know what, that's not okay. I mean, there's forces against this, but I'm just saying, like, if we really all wanted that to change, it could change. But it's going to cost us. But we still have to make that.
That's just it.
We got to figure out where we want to make those sacrifices and do it.
And sometimes you can't do that when you're just surviving.
Or automation. Let's automate the synthesized meat industry.
Lab-grown meat fascinates me because really meat is just amino acids. And so what difference does it make if it is being grown with the same inputs in a living creature versus a lab-grown? It still came from the living creature. There needs to be like some mental Olympics you're going to have to go through to get used to it. But change always freaks humans out. I think that's what it is.
But if you really start to think about it rationally, it seems like a good idea because it's like, we don't need to be treating these animals. There's not a need for all this. Well, there is currently. But if we were to introduce a ethical way of growing meat in a lab, and it's the same shit, the same substance, it gets your nutrition that you need and doesn't cause cancer.
Yeah, 3D.
Then why not?
Well, and if you think about it rationally, you can't.
If you're a rational individual and you actually look at that point objectively, you can't argue against that.
No, the reporter ate the chicken. The chicken burger looked exactly like a really well-prepared chicken burger.
Yeah, why not? And if it tastes good and it doesn't even have to taste good, I guess.
Oh, no, it tasted amazing. But the thing, it even texturally, because I was wondering how they mimicked the electrical impulses to give the meat its texture. And apparently it was amazing. It was a little more tender, they said. What fascinates me
Who doesn't want tender meat? That's some good stuff.
And that's what fascinates about me. In 2013, it cost $250,000 to grill a hamburger.
One hamburger?
One hamburger. Holy this God. New technology. This costs $35.
That's pretty good.
To go down
it's still expensive for a hamburger, but we were talking about like...
Well, yeah, but that is also...
In comparison to $250,000, it's...
And then I learned that a quarter of all the meat production in America goes to feed pets, and that just blew my mind, because you're abusing one animal to feed another. And that's why I get kind of like... What shook me out of my denial is I raised pigs. Pigs are like the fourth smartest animal. When you look into the eye of a pig, you're looking at something that's as smart or smarter than a dog.
Yeah.
And then I had to think about them crammed in there, listening to each other getting killed at 30,000 a day or an hour, or whatever it was. And I'm like, you know what? I can't.
So dreadful.
But on the flip side, I know I have to survive.
I support that industry by buying the store. I don't say that to make you
feel bad. I'm talking about, because you know what?
I should feel bad. Here's the problem, guys. I should feel bad. I should feel bad about the slaves making the iPhones, and I should feel bad about these animals and the way they're living to feed me.
Yeah.
And I do, realistically. But at the same time, it's like, first of all, I'm not going to go vegan. I refuse.
No.
I really like to have my meat, and it provides, nutrition for me.
Plants take resources too.
I would love to get this lab-grown meat because I want to change that. I want that to change, but I don't want to be a vegetarian.
Well,
I don't think that's a healthy way to live either.
And I just don't want to.
I love vegetables, don't get me wrong, but I love meat. I fucking love meat. It tastes good. It provides plenty of nutrition. I think it's needed. I don't think it's healthy to be a vegan or a vegetarian,
Do orcas apologize for tossing seals around?
That's the thing. Yeah, look at the rest of nature, though. Yeah, it's unforgiving.
Nature's brutal.
If you go r/nature is metal, I think it is.
Yes, nature is metal.
It's fucking bad, guys. We're not the only ones, okay? We're not the only. If an eagle could mass produce meat on the level that we do, they would do the same goddamn thing. If a monkey could mass produce their meat on the same level as we do, they would. If all these other animals would do the exact same thing we could, if they had the possibility like we do, if they had the brain to create technology like we do, they would all fucking do it. Trust me.
Well,
and they would feel less bad about it.
I don't have a problem with you want to be vegan either. Yeah. Go for it. Knock yourself out.
Like, one thing that does separate us from the rest of the animals is we do have this thing called empathy.
Yeah, we do.
And that's the reason I can feel bad about eating the pork. As I'm putting it in my mouth and
it tastes wonderful.
Amazing.
Well, I don't feel bad about eating the pigs I grow here at all. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how do you go in and you have these, because I have lots of cows and pigs and stuff, and I pet them, and they're like, how can you take care of them and eat them? Well, doesn't that break your heart? And to me, that's a sign of an affluent society. Mm-hmm. In a society that's developing, there's no apology for killing that goat you need to eat.
Yeah.
And actually you have the ability to do it as painless as possible if you are not a jerk, which there are lots of jerks out there. And that's just it. Jerks exist no matter what.
But, again, the same people who feel bad for these animals are toting around an iPhone made by slaves. They don't give a fuck about the condition. They probably don't even know the conditions that are.
I don't think. Well, out of sight, out of mind is what it is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I'm just pointing out the irony. That's
I call it an affluency circle jerk. You stay. Well, you're in this state of affluency, and it's really bad. And you stay in your social media realms. You're taking pictures of your free range arugula, and it's just you. It's not a bad thing. It's just that you don't have any awareness of, and that's why I talked about my field trip to the state that shall not be named. They don't get out of their enclaves.
No.
And if they do, they just go with each other to, like, I'm going to Joshua Tree. It's like, well, oh, great, but did you go downtown El Paso? Like,
right.
They don't do those things.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But that's what do we do about all this?
We can't, you can only do what you can do individually.
You can point out almost anything and it's bad. Like, the fucking tires on your car. The only goddamn tires are out there. You should see what it takes to get that rubber. Like, straight fucking slavery. And we don't think about it. We just put the tires on our car. We have some poor schlub at fucking Les Schwab. Put the fucking tires on our car.
Who's not paid a lot, mind
you. And that alone is like, he's fucking hating his job. He goes there every day. It's one of those 9-to-5 things. It's whatever.
Yeah, deals with a bunch of Karens.
Yeah, probably goes home, masturbates, watches YouTube, goes to bed, and does it all over again.
Plays Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I actually know people that work at Les Schwab.
And it is what it is. And then he chose that job and all that. But it's like, that's nothing compared to what it takes to get the rubber to make that tire.
Yeah, I think a lot of this...
Or the invisible costs.
I think that's the point of this episode, is the invisible cost of everything. Yeah. And that you live in denial of it when you... But then again, you can be so social justice, virtue warrior, that you're so into that mentality that you don't actually live either.
Yeah. But if you're on your computer, on Twitter, bitching about these kind of things, just like we are on this podcast right now, we're part of the problem, because... Who made this microphone? What's in this microphone right now?
How many salmon died for the power to power this shit? There's a lot of...
Yeah, because we're hydroelectric up here.
To live is to consume. I feel like to limit your consumption's harm is a good goal, but not to be a voyeur about it.
Bitching about all this, but I'm really glad
that we have
we're finally in this time period. I guess it's been going on forever, and that's why we progressed. But like, the world is really like mindful of this now. I was talking to you about this thing I watched about cereal advertisements and how the marketing like pushed all this cereal. Cereal is fucking horrible for you, but they pushed it on you as a health food for part of a balanced breakfast. They invented that slogan for a reason. It's very tricky. Marketing is very full of tricks, okay? Cereal, you shouldn't eat it at all. It's fucking sugar-frosted grains. Grains aren't that good for you. Sugar's not that good for you. They combine those two fucking things and push it on children. There's nothing good about that. But finally, we're seeing a decline in the sale of cereal. Most part of that is because we have different options for breakfast, healthier options for breakfast, and a lot of that has to do with the mindset of society is finally starting to change to be not only healthier. And you can see this in the decline of soda sales as well. The soda industry is panicking right now because nobody wants to buy fucking sugar water over. That's why they've switched so fervently to bottled water.
Yeah, and
tap water. Because it's like the soda sales started to decline. They noticed everybody wanted to be healthy.
Your power as a consumer is huge.
It's huge,
especially if we group together. But quit trying to cancel things instead. I just wish people would educate more than cancel. Like I learned a long time ago when I was trying to feed my children healthy that in Europe they dye their mac and cheese with carrot powder. Okay,
that sounds a little bit healthier than fucking red yellow dye number 12.
And it's funny, it's not that neon gold color that we've got now in our Kraft mac and cheese, but
quote unquote. Non-toxic, meaning it won't kill you right now. Well, we'll see what happens in 25 years after everybody's eaten 2 tons of it. But
to be alive is to be being killed by everything. So it's like I want to pick my poison too. But the idea that over there you could dye things but it's also that because of the power of the internet and information and us being able to talk with each other, that the market is demanding change. I think it's great.
But that's why I'm really in love with the mindset of progression.
Yeah, I like it.
I just don't like the toxic culture pushing it at the moment.
Well, like clothing.
You don't have
Cheap clothing is made
It doesn't
by
have to be a fucking war. It just we need to be more educatory.
And you're not better than somebody else just because you get locally sourced cotton.
That's the part of the toxic culture of it.
Yeah. You still, I can guarantee you, to be alive in America, you are somehow consuming something. I like the idea.
I would hope so. You wouldn't be alive.
Well, I like the idea of reusing things because on the farm, we recycle. There's a lot of waste in America. A lot. Yeah. And so we reuse a lot of stuff here.
Oh, me and David were talking about this the other day. My father-in-law, he grew up very poor and had to figure out ways to reuse stuff like that, like farm mentality.
Innovation. Yep.
Well, look, okay, a good example he gave me was Henry Ford. He was started to mass produce these vehicles, and there was a lot of waste. Well, he's trying to figure out. Henry Ford grew up on a farm, very very poor. Okay, he had this mentality of reuse. So what he did was take all of the boxes, because everything came in a wooden crate back then, all these boxes and all these pallets that he was getting, all this extra wood, and Kingsford charcoal. He's like, well, let's fucking make charcoal out of this. So there was no waste when Ford first started. There's a reason it became so big. And it wasn't only because it was selling automobiles. It was because he was also putting all of the waste back into other things, recycling every bit of metal he could. He was buying back people's cars when the new model came out, so he could recycle pieces of the car back into the new car.
That's that thrifty and economical thing that I love so much. It's not about virtue signaling. It's about using things wisely that had to be constructed.
Ironically, Ford, the company, doesn't do anything like that anymore.
I think Subaru
a lot of waste again.
Is it Subaru preaches they use zero energy, or what is it that they do? Zero. I gotta look it up because it's zero. But what's funny is they have a zero footprint. But the thing is they still have parts on those cars that had to be made from things like the batteries. But it's like
so you have to outsource. Anytime you're making anything, you're going to outsource something or another.
Well, and I think it's good that they're it's just. I feel like people wear it as a badge of honor to beat other people with instead of really embracing and enjoying that they're trying to make their consumption less.
Yeah.
And
I know.
I think it's about balance, right?
I'm not trying to be preachy either. I guess this whole episode the whole episode, I'm hoping we're not sounding too preachy. We're all consumers, face it.
Well, I don't feel like we're preaching at all. It's like we're talking about the hypocrisy of it because
there's a bunch of hypocrisy, a bunch of irony. It's like
look at zero waste.
I just wish there was a better way to go about everything. That's all. Because I think everybody's starting to realize, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people on the planet are starting to realize maybe we are contributing to global warming and fucking up the planet. Maybe it's not good for us to be fucking fracking oil. Maybe it's not good for us to be burning coal. We're starting to figure these things out.
Or how about
farting? We're starting to.
Farting.
We're farting.
It was that Freudian slip about the cow farts.
Yeah. And we've even realized that nuclear energy, we coveted it as like, this is some clean energy. And then we realized there's actually big problems with that. Like, we saw the meltdowns of the nuclear reactors and actually how harmful that could be.
But that was fission.
And I think fission, yes. So now we're starting to okay, let's try to use the wind. The wind's always going to be around. Let's try to use the sun. The sun's always going to be around. So now we're really starting to focus on these clean energies. But then you have the fucking literal dinosaur companies sucking literal dinosaurs out of the ground, and they're fucking panicking because now we're like on a clean energy fucking kick. And they're not clean energy at all.
Yeah, but they could innovate and be clean, and that's just it. That's why I don't want them having a huge.
They are, but they're going to lose a lot of profits, and there's another invisible cost to that.
You innovate or die.
How many jobs are going to cut? I know those people can go get more jobs, but like they're going to lose their pensions.
I don't know. Like I think though some companies. A lot of people will
suffer for it.
Look at Cocoa. You just talked about the beverage companies, so they're having to innovate or they will die. Okay, because sugar is not good for you.
No,
it's a good treat if you can manage it, but realistically, it's in all of our foods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not
especially
good for you.
Corn syrup. We're not even talking about sugar.
Yeah, well, and that's
they barely even use sugar.
So you need to innovate to the market, or you need to die. And I feel like petroleum has been a wonderful thing for humanity. Maybe not so much for the planet.
It's been a very awesome stepping stone to where we are now.
And now we are in post-industrial America, so we need to. The developing nations are going to need to use that to get up to speed with us. They talked about that. Mm-hmm. We're in this next phase where we need to figure out how to do it cleanly.
Yeah.
There's a ton of decaying nuclear material from our big bomb time.
We haven't even figured out what we're going to do with that yet. Our solution right now, let's bury it under some concrete and lead.
Oh, no. Our advanced graduate studies colleges, they are working on how to use it as clean energy.
And I'm glad.
Someone's going to stumble upon
we have to figure out something to do with that because it's coming in by like the ton.
So can we, maybe that's my preaching.
Eventually we're going to run out of room.
Quit judging everybody by projecting your moral superiority by buying your free range cotton and then maybe just be like, hey, I'm doing what I can.
Yeah. Admit that there's an issue with it.
And that you are consuming.
Yeah. I think, and that is what drives progression towards better life is like, we admit that these iPhones are made by slaves. And then we go, how do we deal with that? And then it happens.
And I don't know about you, but I'm willing to sacrifice and go longer without or pay a little more for something that's a little bit more ethical over the long term. You need to think you need to survive.
It's not necessarily sustainable, though, too.
I don't know.
Not everybody can go and afford these things. Do we need an iPhone? You can argue that all day.
You have to have one now to live in society.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can argue that, but at the same time, it's like we'd rather keep it clean. Or we do want everything to be clean and ethical. But we'd rather it also be affordable. You know what I mean? There's the tricky balance.
It's a balance. Well, isn't everything in life balancing the force? I'm really at this point.
And maybe if we'd originally gone down the course of clean and ethical and not had the slaves dig out the fucking lithium in the first place, it would be affordable by now. There's the problem.
Didn't we have to learn slavery was bad in the first place, though, Brady? No one knew that.
Yeah. Well, we already know slavery's bad.
We did it back then.
Let's put it this way, okay? Bill Gates knows slavery's bad, but he still has to buy products made by slaves to make his computers.
And see, that's where I hate it when people.
We know slavery's bad, but it's still happening.
Positions of authority, though, that preach at us how we have to be, and they're not being that way or making
money because they have to deflect it.
Oh, it makes me crazy.
Because they know that they're buying their fucking shit from slaves.
It makes me crazy. It's like realistically, we're supporting slavery by buying the little products.
And I do feel terrible, but it's like. I have to be able to afford my smartphone.
Okay, but think about it this way, too. Without these industries, what would the people be doing to eat in those areas?
That's another... Yeah, there's a true.
It's a double-edged sword.
Even if it comes from... Let's say it comes from China. That's a good conversation topic. Because if something comes from China, it was probably made by some kid making 12 cents an hour or something.
Underpaid labor, which is slavery to us. Yeah.
Horrible fucking human conditions over there. Okay? But... because the government's making so much money, they do feed the citizens, whether it's good or bad. I mean, but they wouldn't eat if the state wasn't making money off of selling us those fucking products.
Do you ever think about the fortunateness?
I wish it was capitalism over there, but it's not.
Well, do you ever think about the fortunateness of how fortunate you are to be born where you were and what time you were in?
Absolutely.
I spend a lot of time thinking about that. Like,
I think about it every day.
Why was I born here instead of Cambodia? Like,
that's something I do every single day before I go to bed.
Yeah.
It's part of the hypothesism thing.
Well, and so I'm always trying to become a better person, not for a morally preachy way, but just I want to be. How do I put this?
Because if everybody just strived to be a better person for the sake of it, then it would be a better world.
I think it would.
If we strive to do that just because we want to feel better than everybody else, that's not okay. That's not going to push us to a better world. That's going to it's going to be divisive.
I just mean truly to be better for overall wellness. Because let's think about it. When you do something for someone else, not because of pure personal edification, but for a multitude of reasons, you do feel better. I think it's like another type of addiction. I think people that are addicted to like virtue signaling and moral superiority and just giving for the sake of giving, they're not being truly honest with what it is actually doing for them.
Yeah, that's true.
And so we have this weird thing going on in America. Like the dopamine drip from a hashtag. It's a freaking hashtag. It's zeros and ones. You really have no skin in the game coming down on the Mandalorian for the egg thing, or
what are you really going to change?
Gina Carano or whatever her name is.
I don't think Gina Carano caused any of the trans people to be had violence against them.
No.
There were words.
Well, we talked about this too, and we won't stray too far into that issue because it's basically a depth charge of destruction.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far.
No, I don't either. But I'm just talking about, instead of when you get angry next time, and maybe that's part of hypothesis, when your impression is to get angry over a hashtag, what are you getting angry at? Are you feeling guilt because you consume and you don't do anything about it and you justify it by doing these social warrior things? Or is it about the dopamine drip?
Yeah. If you applied what we've been teaching about hypothesism, you would take a step back, take a deep breath. If somebody, let's use Gina Carano as an example for a second, okay?
She tricked
Instead of fucking trying to cancel her, why don't we just ask her why she thinks that way, and then try to convince her with words, with education, instead of fucking instead of an angry mob with pitchforks and torches, digitally speaking. And hashtag. I guess the new pitchfork is the hashtag.
The pitch. Yeah, tic-tac-toe death. Well,
but really, talk to her as a human being, not as a fucking Twitter. Just send her a DM, slip in her DMs. Okay?
Do you know how many things I've investigated that I have seen that are out of context? And so, if you just took your outrage and tabled it for a minute and then went and investigated that, the context is different.
Yeah.
Don't send a dick
another
pic,
good example,
too. Sorry, I didn't.
This lady, Candace Owens. Everybody calls her this right-wing, blah, 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 blah. We could go on all day
Candace
about
Owens,
it.
yeah.
Has anybody ever tried to talk to her? Because I know Tim Dillon did, and you all fucking hated him. But he had a nice conversation with her.
She's not a
and got
lady.
She got some real truths out of her.
She's
not mean at all.
She has a different opinion than the mainstream.
But if you don't like her opinions, try to ask her about them.
She's not
Get to know the reason she had those opinions, why those opinions are formed, and if any of that actually comes off as pure hatred for no reason, like bigotry, then okay, you can be a little sour at her. But I don't think that's the place where she's coming from. I don't think that's where Gina Carano's coming from. I don't think that's where most of these people you're canceling are coming from. That's not the place they live in. Now, it's different for someone who's an actual KKK member and they're out there fucking barbecuing, burning crosses for the sake of racism.
Yeah.
That comes from a literal place of hatred, a bigotry for no reason.
I also think you should talk to them.
And I completely disregard those people's opinions because they don't come from a place of education or a real experience of why they even feel that way.
But then again, you don't know if that person was raised in an abusive situation.
And they could have been. I would love to, I
just think of the black guy that changed 200 of them over those years because he just had dinner with them.
Yeah.
I feel like having dinner
that was one of our first positive, if not, I think that was our first.
It was.
When we used to do the positive news article every episode, which.
And I felt, we don't need to do that all the time. But
you also just know, part of our whole shtick is you should just know to go look at positive news. That's all I've been trying to do this week.
I feel like there's
it's hard because I still stumble down the negativity rabbit hole, but
who doesn't?
But back to what we were saying, even the KKK members, maybe don't hate them right away. Maybe talk to them first.
Yeah.
And then if they're just a piece of shit person, okay, fair, hate them. Cancel them. But most of these people that cancel culture are going for are just human beings, and they just have these opinions formed on experience, and nobody bothers to form the context of that opinion. And they just fucking go for them. Are you
mentally on fleek every single second of the day?
That's what I mean. Okay, I go back to this all the time. Jesus Christ, whether you believe in him or not, there's a story in this book called the Bible, whether it's real or not. That's not my point I'm trying to make here, but there was a quote in this book that's a powerful quote no matter how you look at it. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
It's pretty good.
Does anybody know what that fucking means? It means you can't fucking cancel someone if you're not perfect yourself.
Don't hashtag lest you be hashtagged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. let he who is pure cast the first hashtag.
Don't hashtag. I love it so much. And also,
but it's powerful. It's a very good quote. Whether Jesus was real or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is, there's some good fucking examples in that goddamn book.
Oh, there's another really good one that's in Ecclesiastes called "There's Nothing New Under the Sun." And really, all of this stuff we're going through, technology progresses, but our behaviors, there is nothing new.
That how we're behaving.
I like the
humans are humans, and we have been since we were humans. Okay?
Well, and we do these behavior, and I don't want to save the human race with my actions. That's not my job. I have no visions of grandeur.
I would love to see the human race progress.
And you know what?
It's a constant job.
Is with us. We refine using hypothesism and examine our impressions.
And we're not saying hypothesism is the best fucking thing. It's not to save your. We're not trying to sit here and say we're the fucking best. We're the biggest idealists in the whole world, and you should follow. It helps us evolve
our impressions.
Yeah.
It really does.
Remember, we're doing this as a satire to religion. We're not a real religion, so I don't want anybody to like blindly follow us because we're charismatic or whatever the fuck. But like, what we're trying to do is just bring up some good points.
Learn to investigate your impressions and develop new insights.
Although
$29.95,
you can get your ticket to the compound.
And the compound is pretty cool. You can walk through the lavender and get existential awareness.
Snort giant lines of lavender.
Memes. Okay.
But anyway, seriously though, like
the snorting stick.
I think we did come up with, and I don't think we came up with it originally, but we've organized a very good tool set.
You know what it is? It's the mental. That's what it's a wellness tool set.
It's a tool set to just like be okay and not.
We don't want to be your spiritual leaders.
I just don't like. There's so much toxicity in the world.
Yes.
Okay. Among the fucking plethora of other problems that we have on this planet, it's especially in America. There's just this huge bitterness and angst and toxicity going on with everybody right now, and if you take and use our toolkit, you won't fall into that pitfall.
And that's just it's wellness tools.
And
toxicity is something that you can deal with. You can't deal with the fact that the sun comes up every day. You can't change that.
There's nothing
you can't deal with the fact
that
you need to
Jeff Bezos might be able to change that.
Well, maybe he has fulfillment.
Hey Bezos, don't put the sun out, please.
I don't know, that new reactor
like that thing.
But we like that thing. But then on the flip side, yes, please, evil empire, do not build a sun killer. Okay?
They might. Well, here's the problem, okay? They wouldn't do it out of anything nefarious.
No.
Okay?
No. That's why
Star Wars is a great example of this, okay?
Oh, I know. I just watched the prequels again.
Okay.
It was all for the greater good.
It's really easy. It's really easy to put a black and white like filter over everything and go evil versus good. The whole point, I think, of Star Wars was the philosophy of there is no such thing as real good and evil. We've talked about this before too.
Life is one giant gray area.
It's a big gray area, and the evil empire in those movies is a gray area because if you look at it from their perspective, the entire galaxy was doing horribly under this republic of free democracy.
Yep.
Because of the corrupt bureaucracy that was ruling it all.
Yep.
And so like there was slavery going on, all this other shit. So the evil empire, if you want to call it that, in Palpatine's eyes, he wasn't evil. He was like, I gotta change this bullshit. Get rid of this fucking democracy.
He just became corrupted by power.
Well, that's
what happens to everybody.
If you look at the lore, I fucking love the Star Wars lore because what it points out is all this lore of that galaxy that's considered canon was like the Empire actually did a lot of good things for that galaxy. Now, yes, they had the Death Star and blew up a fucking planet.
They kidnapped children. And
but you know, there was new lore came out recently as to why. I guess it's not even new. I think this was a book from the 80s. But the reason they even made the Death Star was because they were trying to expand to new galaxies, and they knew they needed to have some kind of super weapon just in case. They weren't welcomed with. There was colonizing. Yeah, you could argue all day it was bad or good, but like the Empire improved the galaxy overall.
Well,
and then it slipped, and then when the fucking rebels, who you can look at as the bad guys, because they were terrorists, let's look at it that way, okay? The rebels were terrorists, they blew up the fucking Death Star and took down the Empire, right?
Caused chaos.
It caused a bunch of chaos. To the people. Guess what? That created a big power vacuum, and they had no fucking plan to fill that power vacuum with anything good. And then when the New Republic started to rise, it just fell. It slipped back into that original corruption and the original, like, mismanagement of the galaxy. And then the fucking First Order rose up because of that.
Well,
under the shadows.
That's why really all you can control is your attitude and your worldview.
Yeah.
That is it. And so the only way that humanity is going to advance is if you can control and work on what you work on and develop your own impressions. And we've got to limit government's power over people. Because that social contract can become so dangerous, as every movie that we all love points out. It's funny, we flock to this stuff. We get the concept.
We love dystopian movies.
But yet we engage in it with what we're doing on Twitter right now. It's like
how many people are like, oh my god, 1984 and all Orwell and what's the other guy, Huxley?
And we're watching Is it Huxley? Aldous Huxley. Well, no, and then there's Orwell and Bradbury.
Bradbury and Huxley. Yeah, look at this.
But we're
now we got a fucking tracking device in the fucking pocket at all times of the day.
And we're watching it play out literally on our big tech.
Yeah, is it art imitating life or is it life imitating art?
Or do we desire control?
I think the line from that is like completely skewed at the moment, but like it's happening.
Do we desire control? Do we feel safer with order? I think about this a lot. I enjoy making order in my own life. I just don't want other humans telling me what to do.
Yeah, me neither. But it seems to be something we're just like naturally like.
We need the alpha champ.
Yeah, because. Even if you take away the power structures, we put one in anyway.
We do it well, we were just talking about the high school mentality. Yeah. You have your hierarchy.
Look at the founding fathers of America, right? What we were trying to do was trying to escape from big control.
And we made
what happened? Now it's bigger than ever. What the fuck?
I don't know. And
but maybe there's a secret shadow cabal like the Illuminati, like that forced that to happen.
I also think there is biological differences. I think some humans, ladies and gentlemen, are wired to want less control and some are fine with more. And so how do you live all together?
I don't know.
And then
that's the question of the fucking century, ain't it? How do we all live together in peace?
Because I don't want to live through another century like last century where we killed so many people. Can we get around that this century? I don't know. Right now, half my country's ready to light it up.
Well, to go into the political spectrum.
Oh, let's do it.
Donald Trump wanted to take soldiers out of wars, and here comes an administration who wants to just push war because they're getting a nice little stock. They're getting a nice stock package from the weapons industry, and if the weapons industry doesn't have war, it can't sell weapons and can't give them bigger stock packages. So it's kind of one of those things.
But then they promote themselves as the party of anti-war. I can't figure it out.
It's manipulation, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the globalist cabal.
We do have the documents.
We have the documents.
Should we leave this one here?
Why does Joji show up every week? I don't know.
We went everywhere.
I don't want to leave this quite here, but like at the same time.
I know, we're good at an hour.
What's left to really say about all this? Like,
I feel like we have went full circle.
Did we even make a point, though?
Yeah, we did.
I didn't know if I came to any conclusions today. We discussed a lot of important shit, though.
I think that's the whole point of our podcast.
But like, honestly, though, like,
develop impressions.
Guys, your iPhone's made by slavery, and your meat's made with horrible conditions of these animals.
If you buy public meat,
you need to know about it. Maybe you should. We all should feel guilty.
I think this episode
so that we can progress.
Is the existential examiner episode. I think it's good to examine. You get so wrapped up in the routines of life. I think as an adult, it's good to examine what you're consuming and maybe do what you can about what you can.
Yeah.
If you can't, it's okay. We don't hate you. And I think people need to hear that. You have to live first. It's usually through affluency that you can have the time to examine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we're all having so much angst. Is because of influency.
We're too affluent now.
Well, we can sit, like right now.
We're quarantined in luxury.
It's not such a luxurious thing, though, to constantly self-examine.
That's an interesting dichotomy.
It really is.
We're living in technical luxury.
People are using escapism.
But then the world around us is burning down.
Well, and people don't have couches. True. Like your Santa letters.
The Santa letters, man, that was so heartbreaking.
Well, and
shouldn't have read that. But at the same time, it's important. I think it's important to feel the guilt, to feel the shame.
It's not and the shame is not that it's our fault because we're part of the system, we are consuming and are part of it.
That's the problem. I think the whole point of this is it's important to realize the invisible costs of everything we consume, the invisible costs of our social implications, and feel bad for it sometimes.
And quit beating people with the sword of hashtag. It's important
to know that
is not solving anything.
Yeah, fuck the hashtag.
I'm tired of that. It's
like,
go volunteer at your food bank if you feel like you need to be a mighty warrior. Yeah, Stop it with the hashtags.
But don't fucking do it just to say you're better than everybody else. That smug bullshit.
I hate that
You're going to get slapped down.
I do so much stuff every week. I don't do it.
You want to talk about karma.
You don't do it for the glory on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm all about awareness.
I know. If you're going to be posting all this fucking virtuous shit on Instagram, who cares?
But if you
leave it off Instagram, just do it for you. Do it for the persons you're doing it for.
But if you want to spread awareness, I think it's a great tool. Mm-hmm. Like if you go work with people, like say you help knit socks for homeless people, and you're like, hey, I made these really cool socks.
That's
for this guy.
Different.
And then share the relationship with the people.
But don't sit there and go hashtag how dare you not.
Yeah, or like because I don't give $9.95 to your crusade, I hate homeless people. You have no idea. That I will get a little bit angry about. That makes me mad.
So, I just think it brings me back to I get these fucking political emails all the goddamn time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Bernie Sanders was like the worst at this, okay? Oh, fucking goddamn.
Feel the burn.
I am once again asking for your support. If you do not give me $29...
Why did you make him sound like the Trade Federation
I have no idea. Is that illegal? Anyway, shitty accent aside, Bernie Sanders kept begging me for fucking money, and then he started using these guerrilla tactics. You obviously don't want to fight for the winning team. You obviously want to support a corrupt system if you don't give me money. I was like, fuck off, Bernie Sanders. That's a goddamn sick of you. There's a reason you lost. I think it's because of that.
Also, it's okay not to like people. You don't have to have a reason. You're not a person.
I don't like when people beg for money on the goddamn emails because they're a fucking politician.
Well, does that work? I was reading about engagement rate, that you get this big email list, like say for every 1,000 people, 4 to 10% of them are actually going to give you money. So it's like, it's all an
They're playing the money game. They're playing the numbers game. Like, you can't win if you don't play.
I want genuine engagement.
It's the same thing with panhandlers. It's basically digital panhandling, you know what I mean?
That's true.
But, yeah, dude, some panhandlers make fucking a lot of money.
Oh, I know.
I think there was like a 60 Minutes thing on it. One of these weird, tear down journalism stories I saw. It was like they followed these panhandlers, and one of these dudes was like out there dressing like a bum. Mm-hmm. And then he'd walk like half a mile away and get in his BMW. Well, at the end of the day, and go back to his mansion, and he was making fucking like $90,000 to $100,000 a year, fucking just holding the sign.
Well, I feel like hashtag panhandlers are the same thing. Yeah. They make dopamine currency by being warriors.
But I have a solution to some of it. It's a good idea, and I hope somebody takes this idea. Maybe it can go forward. I don't want to take credit. I don't care. But what I want to see happen is, like, if you're going to be sitting there holding a sign, that's all you do anyway, and people give you money. Why not hold a Pepsi sign or you know what I mean? Hold some advertising, and then they can kick you down some money, and then you also get the people feeling bad for you or whatever.
Isn't that what the Liberty tax people do?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to be holding a sign for a job, why can't it be like a fucking local business?
Well, think about how many people leaving Walmart
I encourage local businesses to reach out to these homeless guys panhandling and give them an advertisement to hold all day, and then kick them some fucking money, and you can write it off.
That's true, because it would be charity and
instead of just going, oh, goddamn homeless people outside my fucking business, let's put fucking spikes on the bench. That's some bullshit. Give them a fucking sign to hold all day and give them some fucking money. Give them minimum wage. Bam, they have a fucking job.
That'd be a
bam, they have something to do all day. If they're going to do that anyway, they might as well do it for money.
Well, the problem with
and then support local business, which is good too.
Is they're transient, so a lot of them don't stay in the same place.
But they would have incentive to.
It would be interesting.
Yeah. As long as they don't piss all over your building, that's different. You can regulate that.
Most panhandlers I've seen lately they have a lot of accoutrement too. Like, they have bicycles full of like things, and they got a couple dogs. Have you noticed the panhandlers? So they got to be feeding their puppies, because the puppies look healthy.
They have stuff.
So I'm thinking maybe you're right. Like, if they said, "Hey, we're having a sale at Kentucky Fried Chicken right now. It's the $20.95 bucket deal."
Well, fuck that. Local business needs to get involved.
Well, that's what I said. Local
Pepsi.
deli.
I guess I was wrong with the Pepsi.
Maybe not corporate America.
They got enough fucking deli. We all know what goddamn Pepsi and Coke is, but like, your local businesses should be. That's your community. If you're a local business in a community, that's your community. And if you want to do something positive, go give your homeless people a sign to hold for your business to advertise. I think that'd be a good idea.
Like, we got the deli chicken special here.
I've always thought that would be a good idea. Why not? They're holding signs all day anyway. Give them a better sign to hold.
Well, businesses already pay people to hold signs.
That's what I'm saying.
That's an interesting.
They pay how much to get a billboard? Why don't you just take that, divide it amongst the local homeless community around you?
In the era of digital currency and wire transfers, too, most homeless people I've seen have a smartphone. You could just transfer them the money right on PayPal.
Yeah, it's not a problem. I mean, it's not that hard to get fucking cash anyway. Like, come on. Well, give them cash if you need to.
Well, they would like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's like...
It's an interesting idea.
It's one idea. There's many ideas.
And this goes with the whole theme of our conversation, is thinking about things instead of just accepting the status quo.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good thing to think about at Christmas time too, because right now it's the holidays. Everything's all weird because of the Rona, and so maybe a little bit of examination of our current paradigm is not a bad thing. Like, instead of examining it in anger. Because I've been angry this weekend. Actually, I've been kind of angry.
We're all guilty. We all get angry.
I do. I feel all the time. It's just part
of being alive.
It is, and also it's the weight of the burdens of living that weigh down on you, and then you want to escape, but then you feel guilty.
It's cathartic to bitch. Let's admit it.
It is. Sort of nice.
That's why this podcast is so awesome for us.
Oh, we love it so much, guys. Every Sunday we're excited because we don't even know where we're going to go half the time. We just let it all. Because we
get it out into the universe and
Brady
it's not
and I
on our
are
shoulders
both
anymore.
I'm not going to say all humans, I think, to some extent are thinkers, but we are more observational deep thinkers. We think about a lot of weird shit. And sometimes it's nice just to get it out there. And we'd love for you guys to talk to us about it. I'm working on some initiatives to build our community.
Yeah, because we know when you're listening to a podcast, you're not always able to just go and like engage with it. That's okay. That's just how podcasts work. But we'll set up some channels for you guys if on your time that you do have to. Instead of going and bitching on Twitter with a hashtag, come and talk to us. And come and talk to each other.
Yeah, we like to discuss ideas.
I know there's only like 10 of you guys.
There's more than 10.
We can see the fucking metrics, guys. We have the documents.
We have the documents. Also, I'm not afraid of... Neither Brady and I think I can speak for you here. We're not afraid of any idea.
No.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. I don't care.
We will discuss
Challenge us, too. Fight us.
Yeah.
I take the Buddhist standpoint. If you prove me wrong, I'll change my ideas. That's fine.
I don't have any ego on that. Exactly. I actually like to evolve my ideas all the time.
I've done mushrooms enough that I don't even know if my ego's alive or dead anymore. I
have not done mushrooms, but I've served other humans my entire life. It has beaten me down.
That kills your ego too. It's just a slow burn. That's a slow death.
I'm ready to go supernova. Let's do
You take like 12 grams of mushrooms.
I want to become a neutron star.
Yeah.
So 12 grams of mushrooms. I haven't gone down that route yet, but it is intriguing.
Oh, I think the next episode we should do a drug episode.
We should talk about drugs because because Congress voted. Okay, we're gonna do drug episode.
It's becoming a thing now.
Plus, Christmas is coming.
Jingle bells, eat my LSD.
I've never done that, but that sounds like a trip. Okay.
On that note, send us your Bitcoin and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.